record
Okay, good.
and I'll hand it over to you, Marshall.
Thanks, Donna. Okay,
Have a good night.
thanks. All right, 6:31. I will open the meeting of the Conservation Commission for May 10th in accordance with the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Ashburnham Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Any opening general comments by anybody before we commence with the agenda? Okay. First item up will be a continuation of notice of 10 for lot 511 Sunset Drive for work consisting of clearing a path to the lake shore, clearing an area near the shore, removal of trees, dock installation in the buffer zone of Sunset Lake. Susan, I see you are here.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Chris, I understand that you were on site today?
Yeah, I popped in just to, I know I got your pictures that you had sent, and then I just wanted to see it as well. So yeah, I looked around and pretty much saw the same things you saw. Although I will add, the neighbor has a bunch of trees flagged. And so I'm assuming that's something that's going to come to us, I hope. And I don't know if the flagging means save this tree or cut this tree, but if it's cut, they're going to clear a lot. And we,
yeah, I was there after you.
oh,
I can
and
speak to that, Marshall.
who
Because
is?
this Fred Sellers. Hi,
Hi,
how are
Fred.
you?
Yeah, good.
I just came from there. There's less than half as many trees flagged as there were an hour ago. Because I gave him a little guidance that this is nice flagging, but no. And yeah, they will come to you, but they chose to come to me for advice first, and I pretty much told them what I thought would be acceptable, and it's not going to be what was flagged.
Okay, because
But
I
they
mean,
absolutely will be coming to you soon. So
okay, because based on what Chris and I saw, virtually the entire, shorefront for
yeah,
many feet was going to be
not anymore.
non-vegetated. Okay, very good. Then we'll let it go at that. Okay, then at least based on my observations, and Susan, I met your husband out there.
Yes,
And advised him to please stop work until we had completed the review and issued the order of conditions. I hope he got his truck out of the path there.
yes.
Okay, good. I looked at the, and maybe you did too, Chris, you saw the, essentially what the proposed pathway was, where it was, the cordoned off area for the beach sand. And we discussed the trees to be taken down. The only thing that I objected to was on one side, there was an oak tree right on the shoreline, which didn't, in my opinion, need to go. And there was a cluster of, I believe there were red maples on the other end of the beach area that I also didn't think needed to go. Obviously, there's a tree in the middle of the beach area that needs to be cut. There's the white pine on shoreline, which needs to be cut. There's a few minor trees immediately adjacent to the beach area, which are really a non-issue. And there's a couple of trees along the path that need to be cut and so forth. So beyond that, and with the understanding, as I again discussed with your husband, Susan, that the beach was going to be, there's kind of like a natural raised berm right on the shoreline there. So the
Right.
beach was going to be behind that, the beach sand,
Yes.
so that the berm itself would serve to prevent, erosion of the
Right.
sand.
I appreciate you taking the time to, for both of you to go there so that you could see that for yourselves. I wasn't very clear on that at the last meeting, so
No,
thank you.
not a problem. I think that, leaving that berm and the root system there will basically serve itself. So there's going to be like a 3-foot area, but again, of non-beach area
Right,
next to the lake, and then access to the lake will be via the dock,
correct.
which will go over the berm, and that's about it.
Right,
So the only other thing, Chris, that I said based on my observations was there was some clearing of quote unquote deadwood that I didn't think was necessary. It wasn't necessary to quote clean up the forest. And particularly since I understand that there are certain limitations of the users, and that the path will be the primary access to the lake. And if that's well maintained, then there's no reason to venture off the path once you get to the beach and to the lake. So, but I did say that whatever had been cleaned up to date could be done away with.
Mhm.
And whether it's burned on site, which he may do next winter, when it's conducive to do so.
Mhm.
I didn't have any other issues.
Okay,
The only other thing that was mentioned was some placement of some large stones along the bank, which again, I didn't think was necessary. The bank has been there since the lake was created in the late 40s, and I don't think the bank's going anywhere.
right, okay,
That it needs stones. It's been there 70 years, so. So with that, now also your husband mentioned the possibility at some point of constructing some sort of shed near the road. He mentioned, I think, 12 by 16. I'm assuming whenever that day comes, that it's probably going to be outside the 100-foot buffer zone,
I believe it is.
wherever that may be. So if it is, then there's no future involvement from the commission.
Okay,
If it is like kind of just within the buffer, you can get by with either a request for, a determination of negligible impact, which is
Okay.
a minimal thing,
very good.
without having to go through all this.
Okay.
So, Chris, any comments based on your observations?
Yeah, I would agree. I thought that the trees that were getting removed were things that had been cut earlier. You saw some trees that had been cut when I guess the dock was brought up or something. And
Right,
I thought it was
last
bad.
fall.
I didn't realize it was new tree cutting, so that's why I didn't say anything about it. But I agree with everything you said. Don't cut anymore until. The one thing we had, Mr. Tebow had said something about putting a few stones at the edge of the beach sand to just try to hold the beach sand from going into the water. So I didn't get the impression he was talking about building up the bank, but more just like a little.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood then.
But,
if they wanted to put some stones like behind that natural berm.
Right.
That's the impression. I
Yeah,
had.
that's what he was referring to.
Okay, then.
That would be okay. Okay.
Then that would be okay too. Or, landscape timbers, as long as it's behind the berm
Okay,
and the berm remains unaffected.
right,
Then I don't think we have a problem with that.
good.
Okay. Any other comments? Nope. Okay. In that case, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing for lot 51, 511 Sunset Drive.
Second,
All in favor? Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Spiconi, aye.
All right, now make a motion to issue an order of conditions approving the proposed project per plan and discussion.
Second, thank you.
All in favor then? Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Spiconi, aye.
Awesome. So be it. You're all set
All right, thank you very much.
at long last. I apologize for last week. It wasn't the commission's doing. It was some sort of administrative snafu. So,
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
okay, you're welcome. Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you again. Thank you again for applying before you went ahead and cut the trees like so many.
Yeah, we appreciate that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wanted to go through the proper channels.
No, much appreciated.
Okay.
Um,
Don't sign off. Let's see who that is.
So Fred, I will just comment saying that the association also requires permits for docks.
Yes.
that true?
and- Yes, and they have received a permit. for-
Yeah,
for the
well,
dock From
yeah.
us, right.
So I was told, but I didn't know the association had that.
Yeah,
requirement.
in our bylaws, anything that's going to be on the lake or, whether, or either a mooring or a raft affixed to the bottom of the lake or a dock extending onto the lake also needs association approval in addition to your approval.
Okay, got it.
And just so while Susan's here, the shed would need approval from the association, although
Okay.
not the Conservation Commission.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Fred, thanks. Next on the agenda is a notice of intent filed for Lot 3 Ashby Road, filed by Earth Land Development for a single-family home on Lot 3 Ashby Road. Within the buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. Bingo. Trevor, how are you?
Great, how are you?
All righty. Glasses. All right. What we are seeing at the moment, I don't know, Chris, has anybody else been up there?
I've only driven by it. I haven't walked the site.
Okay, all
I
right.
know this. I know which site.
All right, I was up there previously, I don't know, a month or two ago, and went up there today as well. I'd been in email contact with Paul Grasowitz regarding this project. So what you're seeing again is the plan as it was submitted to the commission, which provided for kind of a minimal buffer next to the wetland. So what I did was I sent an email to Paul, which indicated a potential relocation of the house closer to the septic system and outside the 50-foot buffer zone, which in fact he mailed to me today. I don't know whether you have that handy, Trevor, or not.
Oh, it looks like someone's sharing it right now,
Yeah, I
actually.
think this is the one that Paul emailed out to everybody. I have both of them going here,
Okay,
but so this is the old one. And then this is the updated one.
there we go. Yeah. So anyway, that got the development outside the 50-foot buffer zone. I didn't see any amphibian breeding activity in the pool, which is within the wetland. My only, and I'm, thanks for, relocating things. I think it looks a lot better. The only comment I have is up near where the well is proposed.
Mhm.
Is another wetland, which is not shown on this plan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's all red maple, spirea, arrowwood, speckled alder, saturated. And there's a little pool of water in there too, which I won't say is permanent, but certainly contains at least 18 inches of water at the moment.
Okay.
And I would like to have that wetland looked at by a wetland scientist and flagged. I understand there's a limit on, the well has to be offset by 25 feet is what Paul said from the property
From the
line.
property line.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like where the well is now is kind of like where this wetland is.
Okay.
So, I would like to have the wetland looked at. I know Paul in the past has done some delineation work, but I really would, this is a little, even for me, professional wetland scientist looking at it, it's a little fuzzy. I didn't have my R with me and wasn't about to, go digging through there. But I think if you have a wetlands person take a look at it and either prove me wrong or, flag that area. I don't think it's directly connected to the big wetland that's shown on the plan, except maybe under extreme events, precipitation events, but nonetheless, it's kind of where the well is.
Okay.
And the other thing is, which, and again, this drives me nuts, and you're not the only one, but, again, we're only seeing a part of the site. It would be helpful per the requirements to have not just an itty bitty plan of the whole site, but a real plan of the whole site.
Okay, showing the entire bounds of the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because otherwise we can't begin to think about alternatives because we're only looking at a portion of the area.
Okay.
And that's kind of what was hard for me when I sent my comments to Paul, is that, I might have done otherwise, but I didn't have the rest of the property to play with, so to speak.
Okay.
So I think from my perspective, the house is okay. I think the well needs to be looked at. The wetland needs to be, potential wetland needs to be located or confirmed. And I guess the last thing is you need a special permit from the Board of Appeals, Zoning Board of Appeals.
That is correct. We're going through that process right now.
Okay, so which means that we, the commission, can't act on, can't vote on this until the ZBA has done their thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the state wetland regulations that all other, not building permits, but all other local, whether it be planning board, ZBA permits are obtained. So I don't know what the schedule is for the ZBA, when you anticipate maybe getting through that, but
I believe that is going to be on Wednesday.
Okay,
And it'll be the
Um,
second meeting, so there's already been some discussion on it, so I imagine they'll be making a determination on Wednesday.
okay, all right, so be it then. Um, but in the meantime, if we continue this to 24th,
Okay.
hopefully that will give you enough time to check into those things that I've mentioned. And, you know, again, provide a plan that shows the entirety of the site, the wetland that I believe is there.
Okay.
Again, it's kind of right where the proposed well is shown.
Okay.
And the drilling pit.
All right, we'll take a look at it.
And I also should say too, that there's some activity, so some bulldozing that took place towards that area, which is perilously close to the 100-foot buffer zone of
Okay.
that. So no more activity needs to happen, or should happen, until this whole situation is resolved.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I've said my piece and then some. Any other comments from anybody? Okay, then Trevor, with your request, we would continue this to the 24th at 6:35.
That sounds great.
Okay,
I just had a quick question. I'm just
Yeah.
curious. If you look at the map, you see the erosion control line that bends upwards right around where it says 1108, 1106. You see
Yep.
that bend up? Is that already been cleared? The reason I'm asking is if that line, could that line come a little closer to the house, or leave the erosion control there, but bring a no disturbance line a little closer to the house? I'm just wondering why clear all that stuff towards the wetland when we don't have to. There's plenty of room to get a truck through there around the house.
Yeah, right in there. That's pretty steep grading go down there. It's 2-to-1 grading going from the front left of the house down towards the wetland. So
Is it currently vegetated or?
yeah, I mean there's no big trees. It's all like 1-inch pine saplings is a lot of what's out there.
So it's gonna be mostly just left alone then, you think, or I'm just trying to protect as much habitat between the house and the wetland, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, right up to the silt fence would probably be cleared in that case, just so you can bring the fill in, and you'd just be surrounding a bunch of saplings with fill. So that area would have to be cleared. What I could do is we had a wall on the original plan. I thought we had enough room to get rid of the wall and just make it a nice slope going down. But if you want, I could cut back the grading and I could add that wall back.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of paced off the distance from the existing wetland to the current area of disturbance, and I think they were close, but or maybe right at the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah,
But
I think before they cut, I think Paul hung like a couple flags, and they pulled 100 feet and they hung flag at the 100-foot buffer.
yeah, no, I noticed, well, at stake anyway, and I think that holds true for the other wetland and the activity taken so far. I noticed that the house next door is getting there.
Yep.
Topsoil was placed on, and the well for that, there's a well right on the property line.
It's
that
not
right?
on the property line. Right on the bottom of this plan, you can actually see where the as-built 100-foot well radius is.
I see that.
Yeah, so exactly 100 feet away inside in there is right where the well is. The property line for this one is, you know how like towards the back of the property, the woods kind of come to a point.
Yeah,
That's almost right where the testing for the septic was.
okay.
So I think those piles that you were seeing would probably be really close to right on that property line.
Hmm. So it just seemed that below, kind of northeast, if you will, of the existing, of that, not the one that's really under construction, but the other one, it looks like there was a well that was kind of near the property line.
Yeah, the only well that that's out there right now, the one they put in is what's depicted on that plan with that 100-foot well radius.
Okay.
It might be a
Alright.
little deceiving where the property line is, but from
Yeah.
that well, there is quite a bit of property going with that one lot because I had to meet the 60,000 square foot zoning lot area. So it's such so narrow of a lot that the lot's really wide. So that might be why it's a little deceiving out there.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, I have, if we can, get through this, then it would be a big help.
Okay, yeah, and just in case anybody wants to visit the site today for the ZBA, I just put a stake in where this house location is, right in the center of the house. So if anybody
okay.
wants to visit the site to see kind of where the house would be, there's a stake right where the center of the house would be.
Per this plan?
Yeah, per this plan, the new one, yeah.
Okay. All right, go out and take another look. All right, I have no other comments, and hopefully we can, deal with all this on the 24th.
Sounds good.
Anybody else? All right, then we shall continue the hearing for 462 Ashby Road, which is Lot 3, on May 24th at 6:35. I guess I'm going to make that a motion.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor, Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Spiconi, aye.
Awesome. Okay. So next, Lot 20 Sherbert Road. And is someone here to address that?
That would be me again.
Oh, you again. So it would be. Okay, I did not visit the site. It looks like, based on the plan, that there aren't a lot of options.
That is the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, the driveway coming in is an existing filled in area. They filled in, I think, quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna put the driveway right on top of that. And the area off to the right was pretty filly. That seemed like they filled that area in. So we just came all the way up, and really the only place where the septic could go is right where it was. It's the only place it could meet the 100-foot setback. So yeah, we did that, and then we did everything we could to make it gravity. So the house is built up a little bit, and
Right.
yeah.
And where is the well? Am I just not seeing it?
Let's see. Where's the well? Oh, it might be off on that plan, actually. No, I think you're right. I think the well's missing on this one.
Because I don't see the 100-foot well radius.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, you're 100% right. I'll have to ask Paul where he was thinking about putting that. I'm guessing it would be kind of in the front of the house. Getting 100 feet off would be my best guess.
Okay. All right. Well, assuming that's the case, I mean, again, it seems that the whole development area is going to be enclosed anyway with silt fence.
Yeah, it looks like right around where the 102 grade
Yeah.
marker is, right in the
Yeah.
front. That's
Yeah.
about 100 feet off. So I'm guessing it would kind of go somewhere right in that area.
Okay. But certainly within what's envisioned as a development area as we
Yeah.
see it on the plan. Okay. All right. Chris, any comments?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, there's not a lot of options. I guess I'm uncomfortable only that this is about as close to the wetland as we have seen in a lot of developments. It's just things are pushing right up really close, but I mean, yeah, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of options, but that's not a really good site.
No, certainly not ideal.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right then. If we have no additional comments and with the understanding and observation that doesn't seem to be a lot of options, then I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for.
Marshall,
Yes,
could I, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could I just ask a quick question? I'm Ed Cressy. My parents live up on Lake and Sherbert, just up the hill from the site.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Just for my own education, when you say there aren't a lot of options and that it's maybe not an ideal site, can you just speak a little bit more to that, please?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, lots were created, their dimensions, their shapes, who knows how long ago. And, maybe, since these were created, wetland regulations have come to pass. I know of certain lots where that the people now, what do you mean it's not developable? It's like, well, I'm sorry, but it's, 100% wetland and you can't do it. I don't know when they bought this property, but they, at least they can do it without impacting the wetland. It would be great if there was no wetlands, and then none of us would be here looking at this. But I think they've done what they could do in terms of, the septic system, kind of has to go where the soils allow. The houses outside at least the 50-foot buffer zone, which is very similar to the one we were dealing with just before this. Again, in order to make the gravity system work, they had to raise the house a little bit on fill, which means that you have to do a little more grading around the house. There's really not much we can do since there, are going to be no direct impacts to the wetlands. Which is, it's allowable under state and municipal law. So it's just unfortunate that there's so, and maybe it's because of the demand these days that, we're down to all these difficult lots where, I kind of have to shoehorn things in. But, otherwise, we're not about to take it and condemn it. I don't think the commission is that anxious to own property on Sherbert Road. So anyway, this stuff, I mean, we see a lot of these.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, then I will again make a motion to close the public hearing for lot 20 on Sherbert Road.
Second,
All those in favor, Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Spiconi, aye.
And I will make a motion to issue an order of conditions per plan and discussion.
Second,
All those in favor, Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Spiconi, aye.
Okay, so just to whom should Trevor, who should it go to, the property owner, the order of conditions?
Send it to Barclay Enterprises, the applicant there.
Yeah, okay, all right, fine.
All right, well, thank you guys very much.
All right, very good,
We'll see you on the next one.
indeed. Okay. So what? 3 foot from Ashburnham. All right, lastly, we have the request for an extension for Billy Ward Pond, which we kind of weren't going to do initially because we all believed that the original permit was for 5 years. But unfortunately, the order of conditions didn't specify that. So giving the association the option, they've decided that they'd just soon proceed with the extension for another 3 years, which will actually give them 1 more year to legally treat the pond, which they wouldn't have had if we'd gone with a 5-year order. So it's understandable and makes sense to me. So unless there are other comments, again, I discussed this with Solitude Lake Management, who in turn discussed it with the association, and their decision was to proceed with the extension. So that's where we're at. All right, then. I will make a motion to issue the extension for lake management at Billy Ward Pond.
Second,
All those in favor, Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Spiconi, aye.
And then again, this will be just for 3 years, and then, we'll have to see how it plays out, whether they want to either request another extension, file new NOI, blah, 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 whatever happens, but 2.5 years from now. All right. Moving right along here. There's a request for a certificate of compliance for 17 Main Street, the former funeral home. Rich visited the site, provided us all with pictures. Seemed okay to me.
Rich had noted that it looked like not a lot was done to stabilize it, but enough time has passed. Would we say, I guess he had made some note about would it make sense to require some of this to be addressed in the future? But can we do that once it's sold? We really can't require them to come back, right? And I don't know, what would we even require them to add at this point? Stump grindings or plant it with something. It's probably. What do you think?
I don't think it's going anywhere with all those leaves.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't see how we could require anything after a sale. So
I'm having trouble trying to picture that locale. Although that's the far end of the parking lot, right?
I don't remember that picture. That one looks like it could use a little, at least some wood chips or something just spread along there. But it hasn't moved. Well, it's been like 5 years, right? So if it hasn't eroded yet, maybe it won't. What do you think?
I mean, it looks a little eroded here.
Yeah.
Bill, care to speak to any of this?
Hi, Bill Hannigan with Hannigan Engineering. This view is actually at the end of the side driveway on the right side of the building, not the end of the parking lot. And so at the end of this, they have a gravel driveway which goes up to the upper parking lot that was permitted for basically for access for safety purposes and stuff. From what I understand, the new owner is it's turning back more to a residential use. So I think if I was the owner and had a parking lot on one side and the driveway on the other, I would put grass in between. So I'm imagining that's probably where it's going to end up. And we, none of us sitting in this room can tell the
Yeah.
future owner what they're going to do,
Sure.
but that makes the most sense to me. I think that the maintenance on the property is going to be a lot better than it has been in the past. And I think that that's fair to say.
As we looked at that previous picture, is Phillips Brook on the right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, that area never was, even beforehand, very well stabilized.
Right. That was the area where there was, I think, an old driveway that went out way out to the back at one point, and he kind of cleaned this area up as part of the whole
Okay.
riverfront stuff.
And that's because it was owned by the person way in the back.
Right. To the right of it, it's kind of the property line is kind of split in that area.
Yeah, right.
And I think if we remember correctly, and this has been a long time, Marshall, as you know.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. I believe that the front portion, we tried to get the permission of the people in the back to allow us to, if I remember this, we tried to
I
get them
do.
permission to
I do.
replant that area and they wouldn't let us.
I know it. I know. I never understood that, but so be it.
Right.
Okay. And it has been sold?
I don't know if it's closed yet. I know that the closing was coming up. I don't know the dates.
There's the sign still out there.
Yeah. I know that this was one of the things that we got a call very last minute, that this was sort of one of the things that had to get taken care of prior to the closing or
Right.
as part of the closing. But I think the lawyers kind of, sometimes they put like, they'll hold back like $2,500, whatever it is, to have us go out and finish all of our work in case there's anything else needs to be done. And I know that when I did my site walk on it, I told Larry to clean out the piping coming into the basin and to remove the silt fence and stuff like that. So,
Right.
because that was
Right.
still in there. So that, I think that's part of what you're seeing along the edge that was on one of the previous pictures.
Hmm.
I think that was where he pulled the silt fence out. And I think that's that'll just grow in over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that area down there.
Right.
That's the basin, I think there is an operation and maintenance plan that goes along with this. I think that continues.
Yeah, I mean, I think whoever buys it buys into.
Right. And I think, and I've talked to Larry's attorney about the fact that there are perpetual conditions and that the person who's buying it has to abide by them. So I know that he's making the buyer aware of the perpetual conditions, which I believe is the maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't abandon it.
Right. Because if you remember correctly, this has an underground storage chamber system.
Yeah.
And so that's the maintenance that I'm referring to, that would be definitely part of that.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it might be that you put something to that effect in the certificate that the property is still under conditions that are in perpetual, or however you want to word it.
Yeah. Is there a clean out manhole or something?
Oh yeah, there are a couple of manholes. Yeah, they're very visible. There's one that
Okay.
says storm scepter right on it, so it's not like you have to find it yet.
Well, yeah, that absolutely then. Yeah. Okay, that's I mean, we can go back to look at the plans, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, then I'm going to make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance with the suggested caveat that, certain ongoing conditions need to be continued, such as maintenance of the stormwater management system in particular.
Second,
All in favor, Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Piconi, aye.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good seeing everybody.
Yep, good.
I hope you guys never go back to the regular meeting. I love the Zoom meeting because I'm going to click off here and I'm going to go sit down, sit with my dogs and chill out.
Well, I dare say that I'm in agreement with you because it's great not having to, get up, go out and, when you're done, you're done.
When you're done. All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, Bill, thank you. Okay, the only other thing I have is the approval of the minutes for April. Well, because we didn't meet the 26th. But we did, I did send them out and all, so. And with this, we'll be up to date. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of April 12th.
Second,
All those in favor, Marshall Dennis, aye.
Kristen Godfrey, aye.
Chris Piconi, aye.
All right, awesome. I can send those down to Rich tomorrow and get those posted. Just two things that I've observed today. It's amazing what you see if you just drive around town. Whitman and Bingham was out at the Cambridge Grant Farm surveying on the south side, which is where the ponds are, the two ponds are, south of Wilco Road. For what purpose? I have no clue, but something may be going on there. And the house immediately adjacent to that lot, I don't know, Chris, you remember there's a big vernal pool behind the house?
Oh, yeah.
And the owners, Karen Brown, and I forget her husband's name, they bought the other parcel.
Mhm.
So that there's only going to be the one house. Well, either they recently purchased or had all along a rather sizable RV, which now wants to be parked below, not in the driveway, but below the driveway in a new area, which is within the buffer of the outlet stream for that vernal pool. So I'm going to ask Rich tomorrow to, hopefully that's all that is being done, in which case, but you never know until you find out. So it will be a good opportunity to also remind them that, and not to do wholesale tree clearing around that vernal pool. But it looks to be like the RV is 30 feet, maybe more. So it's going to take a bit to get it off the road. So other than that,
There may be another violation on Cashman Hill Road. It's actually been going on for a while. I just keep forgetting to bring it up. It's right by, it looks like a little intermittent stream, but a guy's got, it's about 133 Cashman Hill Road. It's just a lot.
Okay.
It's not a house, but he's got his equipment there. He's cut some trees. He's got barrels of probably oil for his heavy equipment
nice.
sitting on the ground right next to the little 5-gallon barrel bucket.
Mhm.
But I've been meaning to bring that up to maybe have Rich pop by. And it doesn't look like anything's going on right now, but he's got all the equipment there and the wood's been cut and it's clearly not legal.
All right.
And what are your thoughts about the Meissner property? I assume that's all in their permit, but speaking of Whitman and Bingham, I don't remember permitting that.
Yeah, I would have to go back. I know that we did extend the permit. But what exactly was included kind of escapes me, but
the last I saw today was like there's a giant pool of water now that's formed.
yeah.
You know, Chris, did you know the Meissner property? That's the one on it used to be the Jersey Barrier house with the big concrete barriers right in the center of town.
It's a big yellow house.
Oh, yeah.
where
They're
the
very
stream,
long.
the stream
and-
runs through the house and then it goes over to Cushing Academy and the stream goes off.
Yeah, yeah.
Right across.
Yeah, they can
The
fish
base-
from the living room. It's great. No.
The base of Cushing Street. Cushing Street. It's right at the bottom of the.
But yeah, I was meaning to ask Rosemary or Walt for an update as to, this isn't going to take 3 years, is it? That it's going to look like a mess? It would be nice to know what the schedule is to wrapping it up and revegetating everything. So
I'm sure they want to get it cleaned up as soon as possible.
one would think.
It
Yeah.
does show that there's no corruption in our town when the board, one of the board of selectmen or one of the select board has, this going on. It shows that they're not getting work done quickly just to have a nice looking property, are they? So
No, but it does look like kind of a mess at the moment. So I will make that. And then if you could send, Chris, an email to Rich about 133.
yeah, I'll double check that address.
I will send him an email about Wilka Road. And then Lorraine notified me of a potential violation of the riverfront area on the eastern portion of Tuckerman Road. Who knows? I don't know. Can't check everything out. I did see a lot of new docks though in my voyage today, but what are you going to do? All right, so I think that's it, unless you folks have something else. We did everything. We did the minutes, and so May 24th it is.
All right. 7:25 adjourned.
7:25. You can, yeah, I'm sure it was duly motioned, right?
It was
Oh,
motioned and
second.
voted.
Yeah, there you go. I motion, Kristen seconded. So how are things, Kristen? Getting along with the newbie?
Yeah, they're going. I was a little bit worried about having to drag her to town meeting and stand up in front of her thing, but luckily we didn't have to make that trek.
Yes, my eldest son is, his wife is due middle of next month, so fun.
It's exciting.
Yep.
Is this your first grandchild?
Second,
Oh, wow. Oh, fun.
yeah. Well, the first is 2.5 years old now. So he will have a little brother. We will be spending some time at their house in Lexington during the critical periods to kind of offset the mayhem. Or attempt to control said mayhem, including the dog, but their dog. But anyway, all right, that's about it. So I think we're done. Thanks for
Right.
being here, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Okay, you too. We're done. And